Good morning.
Hi.
Today I've decided to take Sophie to something that she doesn't like, an underground structure.
Should I?
She doesn't want to do that.
There you go, that's better.
We're in Northfleet today. It's one of the tunnels that have been left that I haven't recorded yet on this channel until now. Although I visited it before, so I'm actually very familiar with it. And I will tell you about the history as we go along. It's going to be kind of interesting because I'm going to sort of talk about the history that relates to the tunnel, but not all the cement works, if that makes sense. Because we're really focusing on the tunnel for today. But actually, this tunnel is actually one of these important tram tunnels that you just have to discover. If you shine a light behind us. It's not the longest tunnel in the world ever. Now, it does look like it is because it's blocked at the other end. But actually, if you stand at the other end, you'll be able to see a pinprick of light, which is this. But also, there's some hidden little treats in there as well. So, should we do it?
Let's go.
Come on. Welcome back, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to another tram tunnel that is in the Northfleet area. Now, I'm not going to give you the exact location, but I will probably, as we talk, show you a really nice little old map because it highlights where we're at. But if you know it, keep it to yourself, is what I'm going to say. Don't have to comment and tell everybody. Just keep it to yourself. And if you've done it, well done. Be proud of yourself. Here's a bit of Northfleet's history. Now, obviously, if you know the channel, we've done a lot of these, and a lot of these haven't been actually labelled on the channel because I kind of wanted to keep most of them secret. But this one is a straight lined tunnel, which would have been a diversion, and actually what would have happened is if we turn back round, that would have come from Swanscombe Quarry. And then what would have happened is it would come from Swanscombe Quarry, basically get the chalk, and then come all the way through here, and then basically this would have, actually this line's interesting because it sort of like cuts round and then through, if that makes sense, into another pit, or probably looks like it would have done anyway at least, and then it links up. But there's a few hidden treats like we said before as we sort of enter this one, but we'll show you that when we're near there. But it's not a long tunnel. Sophie, thoughts and feelings, try not to blind people. There we go. It's a tunnel. Obviously, you know Sophie's love of history is not this. Brick lined. And then it interestingly just gets completely concrete. It just, what am I talking about? Brick line, and it's just raw chalk, sorry. So yeah, that's really, I mean, that's all I want to tell you at the moment, but we're going to carry on. Well, do you want me to carry on just telling you, everybody? I think you might as well. So, if you don't know the Northfleet area, Gravesham area, really, like I said, I feel like I probably repeated myself depending on people's sort of knowledge of this, but we've done a fair few now. And in fact, we've almost done all of them. And what's happened is that because there's been lots of regeneration, rebuilding, etc., it's exposed some of the older tunnels and actually sealed up a lot of them now. Most of them actually, as a recording this, have pretty much been relatively sealed up from what I know. I haven't really revisited most of them, but I'm pretty sure some of them have. This one's nice because there's some really interesting writing in it, which have been carved out. So we know that this tunnel probably was around the beginning of its life started, because you actually, if you check the maps out, it actually gives you a good indication of the cement works. So this is what we're going to really talk about. There was, if I pause for a second, there was 4 different cement works of note that this would have led up to. The most famous one is Bevan's, which all of them create cement. So the idea was you take your chalk from behind us in the quarry behind, or obviously around here as well, but mainly there was a pit that linked up behind, which is why there's trams in here. And obviously, for those who don't know, chalk, obviously when heated, lime, etc., then can be used as cement. It's a primary ingredient for cement. The date of this is pretty much at the start of the works. So we're talking around 1830 onwards, because Bevan's, I think, is probably the oldest, one of the oldest ones in the Northfleet area. But there were 4 other ones of note that were here. There was Northfleet Cement Company, which literally, when we come up to the end of this tunnel, that's what they would have sequentially linked up to all 4 in essence, and obviously all in various different stages. Bevins, London, Portland. Portland Cement is really what this would have been classed as and called. It would have been called Portland Cement, which is a certain type of cement, a well-known type of cement. Northfleet Cement Works, Bevins, and then eventually most of them during its later life got taken over by Blue Circle, which you would know because, especially so because she's Medway. And Medway, for people who don't know, Blue Circle is quite a common one to do. But yeah, what also is really interesting to note, because I'm going to go really geeky on you because I know the area, as most of you probably would obviously testify to if you've known the channel for a long time, is that this is, well, it's a tramway. The rumour was there was a specific gauge that they used on this, so just a slightly narrower gauge. And actually the reason is because, or the rumour that I was always told, was that Bevins is a Welsh company. And by being a Welsh company, they actually used Welsh trains or Welsh sort of steam locomotives, which were a certain gauge. So actually what we're walking across potentially isn't your normal standard tram gauge, if that makes sense. And as we walk along, we see some really interesting notes. 1989 there. In fact, actually some of the good stuff will be on a adit that will be explored, which actually is almost here. It's pretty much here actually, but we're going to come back to that. We're going to go to the end of the tunnel and then we're going to come back, and I'm also going to talk to you about some other little bits as well. And the locomotive, or the engines that would be used, are absolutely amazing. Actually, although there's obviously clear burning that's taken place here through people who've set fires in here, actually most of this probably would have been due to the smoke from the steam from the engines themselves as they were coming through. And we'll come back to everybody. That is an incredible piece of history in terms of what this relates to. It's technically an adit. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. So we're just going to walk through. I'm just going to guide you through it, really. I think it's probably the best thing to do. What do you think? Now, you can see we're not actually that far back. See the pinprick of light. I mean, it is like what Sophie would politely put in her nonchalant excitement of nothingness. It is just a tunnel for you, isn't it? But there's no creepy vibes. There shouldn't be any creepy vibes because, as far as we're aware, nobody passed away. Although what you should be aware of, everybody, is this is actually one of the probably more interesting tunnels, but wouldn't say the most interesting, because actually a lot of them in the area were brick lined, and this one will be brick lined at the end and it'll be brick lined at the front, which we saw as well, but most of it, like I said, is exposed. In fact, actually you can see it's narrowest. You can also see there's been a lot of subsidence and decay that's gone on where there's been chalkfall and stuff like that. And obviously you don't need to be somebody of knowledge to know that that's where that breaks there and then it falls and drops. But in terms of industry, this was at the height of its industry. So let me carry on talking whilst I'm sort of like guiding you through his wonderful tunnels. So we spoke about Bevins. Bevins started around the mid 19th century, 1800s. And really they were the main contributor to the Northfleet area for cement. And really the idea was that all the cement works, as you probably, if you're not aware, were pretty much built right next to the Thames for transportation purposes. So they had it all here. They had the primary source, which was chalk, and then what we note here is all of a sudden the opening becomes even bigger. And this denominates actually an interesting section because it's actually very familiar to some of you who have probably explored Northfleet. Again, try and keep it to yourselves just in case we don't want to encourage wrong people to come down. But in this repute, it's very similar to probably one of Northfleet's most underrated ones. And in fact, actually, as recording this, although I have visited it on a few occasions, never filmed it, is referred to as Northfleet's potentially largest civilian air raid shelter. I'm not going to say who that is, but it's not Henley's, because we've done Henley's. But it's not too far away, and it was actually the same principle, which also links us up to, I feel like a tour guide actually, and I'm pretty much timed this quite well, really. Scrape to the back, almost at the end. As you can see, well, Sophie can see it, you might not be able to see it, everybody, but this denotes us onto this extra section. So, from what I'm aware, this is an extra tunnel that goes across, and actually, when we come back, in theory, that would have linked up to that. So that's what I'm aware of. And actually, if it carried on, which it does, that actually would have been from I'm just going to say this because I'm not going to nail my colours to the mast, but from what I've done research-wise, it labels that would have actually also been used as an area shelter, although above us, the idea is that really what that would have done is that, from what I'm aware, this was a passage that linked up from the top of the quarry down to the bottom. And that's it, really. And obviously when you go in, you have a look, you'll see how narrow it is, which also makes sense as to why that was the case. And I apologise for I genuinely feel like a tour guide. Do you feel like you've learned something today? Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be people in Northfleet who are going to probably add on top of the extra history. Feel free to, but obviously please just respect the locations, always keep saying. And then we get to the end. And it is as simple, for the main section at least, as that. There you go. And then back into a brick-lined section with nice bits of graffiti dated 2022, 2023, which actually, funny enough, coincides with actually, from what I can remember, because I was pretty much doing some filming down there at the time anyway, when they started to reopen up the whole section. But yeah, there we go, Soph. We're going to have to do the tricky part next. So, yeah, that'll be fun. But it'll be well worth it. But look, Soph, take a look at this. Oh, sorry, Sophie's taking photos, everybody. Sorry? Turn round. I've got to pose, everybody, for the YouTubes. Okay. You can see also, so basically what this would have carried on into was obviously another chalk pit eventually, and then just round the corner. But it's amazing to note that we were under a lot of houses around here at one point. Well, still are there. I don't know what I mean at one point is that there's a section of it which we're literally under people's houses, and then it opens up, carries on, and this is basically the other end of the chalk pit itself. Is that your torch? It's just the way that is, isn't it? It's just beautiful bright white, isn't it? But yeah. And actually, if you look at some of the other tram tunnels that are in the area, most of them you could tell were done at the same time, because this reinforcement here to stop it, this blockage, is actually quite similar to a few of them. And again, I don't really want to say too much, because if you know, you know. But like I said, I do want to try and protect this as much as possible, but we're a historical channel, aren't we? Mm-hmm. And like I said before, I won't tell you which ones are on there, but there's a lot on our channel that we've done that we haven't actually called Northfleet or anything like that. So if you know, you know on the channel. But yeah, should we carry on? Look, it's amazing though, isn't it? Because I think you're a bit worried that we were going to be quite far in.
Well, it is quite long.
But it is quite long, but it's a straight line. And it proves that obviously, you know, one of the most important things to note is that it just literally cuts through two pits potentially, or would have done. But it's the adit that we see in a minute, which is probably the entrance that's also interesting in that. So yeah, cool, let's carry on. Well, so what happened basically then, everybody, to the end of this life then? So most of the workings sort of shut down in various stages. Some in the 80s. Blue Circle, for example, pretty much for most of their stuff was roughly in the sort of early 2000s. And sequentially they just slowly shut down. And so what happened was the tram tunnels weren't really in use. In fact, actually most of the use of the tram tunnels basically we're still using actually old engines to pull the chalk from the pit to the quarry. It's quite weird. If you look at some of the early photos, especially from Swanscombe Quarry, for example, I mean, they are proper relics. you know, relic in the truest sense of the word. I'm not really, I don't claim to be a train enthusiast or anything like that, but locomotive or tram expert, but it's yeah, it's interesting when you sort of look through it. You also see these, some little holes you've noticed when you go through, some pits, debris, etc, etc. But I think the most important thing to realise is that actually the height difference in some of this stuff is actually quite dramatic. All of a sudden you open up into a massive section and then there's like a narrow section, etc, etc. It's very cool in a practical way, that my love of structures, etc. Do you want to get in there as a proof of point? You proof it in that. Yeah, look. There you go. Just in case we found one that was speeding past, although actually, funny enough, you'd have to tuck yourself right in there, because actually this is quite a narrow passage. Soph's rocking her hoodie. Rocky, yeah. And again, look, another one of these little holes. Look like like sort of little bores, don't they? But no reason for them to sort of be in the middle of the tram track. Early newspapers as well. Look at this. Look, Woman's World, Sporting Pet.
What is the date on it?
1980s, isn't it? It's got to be
79.
Or 79. There you go. Fleet Autos. There you go. North Fleet. Somebody apparently wanted to burn that though. But this won't be the last one that we do in this series of all of these. We know that there's actually a fair few that still probably will be left to prove buried for future generations to discover, and some of them might be opened up in the future, but hopefully they get opened up respectfully. And now, this is our adit, which doesn't go that far in, but it's interesting to document it, so let's do it. Everyone, Sophie's going to take over now. Let's do it.
Which one's turned around, that one? Can't say I'm particularly happy, but we're going. Oh, Jesus, and I'm standing on someone's cherry coke. Right, don't know if you can see everyone, but actually this slopes quite drastically uphill. And this is from the entrance point, so I'm 5'4", and I'll clear the ceiling, not in the entry point, but here. So this is just a extra side tunnel. Oh, it actually doesn't go that far, but it is very steep incline. So possibly a side exit point, footpath. There's a few bits of debris, but ooh, there you go. At the top it is. Oh, this bit's very steep. That's gonna be fun to go down. It's worn down. We are bricked off. And there's a little. I don't think there's anything down the side. No. There you go. Let's turn you around. Oh, low ceiling up here. Don't know if I move that away, can we see down the end? No. There is a little bit of light left at the bottom from the other torch, but it is a. I'm really out of breath. Drastically steep incline there. Yeah, let me just show you the. Ooh, turn around. Other side. Let me just go down a bit without. So, because it's chalk, it's worn quite smooth. Yeah, that's it for this extra side quest. And actually, in this section, the ground's been rounded off, so I'm having to crouch a smidge. So it's not so tall here, but the rest of the way down, I'm fine. Let's head back down. I'll take you with me. Let's turn you around. And ooh, turn my head round. Ooh. So this is slippy as hell. Ooh. And actually here I can, there we go, level back out. Ooh. But yeah, I'm afraid, sorry guys, Tunnels and caves aren't my favourite. Especially now we're going to somehow get back down. Because the entrance, how it would have been connected originally, because obviously you don't want to be in the way of the tram, so how this would have connected once upon a time down here, not too sure.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a long...
It's very, obviously it's chalk, it's smoothed down a lot, so it's like,
Did you
yeah.
see some of the original graffiti or some old stuff in there?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you see some writing in it there? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Not on the front, on the walls.
No.
Oh, that's alright.
Yeah, so I didn't look at that.
That's alright. Well done, Safe.
But yeah, you can see this is all bricked up. Right, now we've got to get back down. Here we go. See you on the other side.
Well,
We made it.
Sophie, well done. It can be quite a little bit of a
Trust exercise.
trust exercise. I mean, you can probably do it on your own, but I think it's important that safety matters.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? With everybody. But you did it, and you had a look, and yeah.
It's as if I missed anything important.
Yeah, there might have been some writing maybe from the sounds of it, but it's all right, because we've found some here as well. That's
He
okay.
didn't tell me what to look for.
So
Just
I
went, off you
actually
go.
didn't actually. But like you said, steep incline though, at the end.
Yeah, sorry if I sound really weird. It was actually quite, yeah.
But it proves the point, doesn't it? It just proves the physicality, and it's actually quite narrow, isn't it?
Well, as I say, most of it I can walk upright. When you
Yeah.
get to the top and bottom, I have to crouch.
Massive props to Soph, by the way, on this one. So feel free to let her know in the comments, because really, I'm really proud of you. Really well done.
I should be good.
I owe her some dinner. Oh, sorry. Oh, what? I thought actually you meant giving me props. Like, well, yeah, of course.
Well, no, you did you popped my butt. That's about it.
That's right.
On
Yeah.
the way down.
Thank God we're in a relationship. Oh, that would have been awkward. Right, let's carry on. Come on. There we go, everybody. All right, onwards to the end, to the exit. See some more newspaper here. We're not going to keep dating it.
Yeah, I tried to look at it.
But no, honestly, so well done for that. Really mean that. Yeah, look, 1989 again. I think that's one we sort of looked at. So 1980s, 1970s, 2003s, which pretty much gives you an indication of certain periods of time when this was more common for people to access. Going through phases. Sad really, because this will be blocked up at some point, well, sealed, mostly for safety purposes. 2023 there. Somebody really put their signature into that one, didn't they? But yeah, sad in that respect, but on the same token, like you, I'm going to agree with you to a degree. It is a tunnel. It's a straight line and it's underground. That's fine. But on a historical level, what we've given them, it's interesting, but it's not as detailed as a medieval abbey or a church of what Sophie's. It's our industrial history. I mean, I love my industrial history, as most of you know. I like anything underground, but it's just a nice thing for me to actually come back and revisit, really, which is good, because I told Sophie about the time that I came here. And yeah, she was like, well, I'm not doing that. So I bribed her with some food.
Usually works.
Which usually works. So we fell in love. Food. There we are though. Back to the final brick section. We'll dip our torches because it's still in operation around here, and even though they don't probably give a crap at the moment, especially on the numerous few occasions I've been down here before and pretty much made it blatantly obvious that I've been exploring stuff. Then yeah, but there you go. Interesting that hole. There's a telephone there. If you want to call anybody.
Ring, ring.
Is there anybody on the outside? Let me just. Is there anybody? No, let's say it's dead. Let's go.
I'm holding this really weird.
You are. Hello, everybody. Should we try and get in a bit in the light? There we go. We've turned our torches off now. We're done, mate. We're out of here. No, we are. Thank you for doing that little section. It's not the easiest section to do, but you managed to do it, and I'm really proud of you for doing that. And actually, it just makes for a change on this channel. Get Sophie's perspective on things. So yeah, take that for whatever you will, really. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful thing. Hopefully it will be a compliment to, obviously, if you know Sophie on this channel by now, you know she's a brave little soul, and I do put her in awkward situations sometimes, so that's purely on me. I'm a bit of a taskmaster when it comes to sort of getting people out of their comfort zone to do these type of things. I think if I'm doing it, I can't have all the fun. Yeah, exactly, that face.
I just huff about it.
I know, you just huff about it. Well, thoughts and feelings.
It's a tunnel. With a smaller tunnel next to it.
Right, okay, thank you for that. Hopefully I gave you enough information without going too geeky and etc. But yeah, basically what Sophie went up, just to illuminate on it, was we reckon it was like a foot tunnel or like an adit. It's an adit, definitely. Just a side adit, just in case. I'm assuming it might be a safety adit, because obviously if that collapses, you need somewhere to get out. If one end's blocked, I don't know. That's what. And also there's the rumour of it probably linking up to, there was an air raid shelter tunnel, part of the tram tunnel complex, that was up there as well. I don't know. I know exactly where it is, but I'm not going to tell you because you'll figure out. But if, like I said, if you know where this is, please don't put it in the comments. Just keep it to yourselves. Just enjoy the fact this is a video. We've done it in Northfleet, and like I said, we've done plenty in this area now, all these tunnels, etc., throughout the years. So just appreciate it. Just be grateful for it. We're here to document it, and that's it. That's it. Train. Take care, everybody. Much love to all of you out there. And the more words to finish history, because history matters. I haven't said that like that in ages. Take care. Much love to all of you out there. Thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, yep. Sorry.
I was going to say, it should be that way around.
Thank you. Would you like to kapow the audience? Kapow.